You're listening to the Affiliate Marketing Podcast, brought to you by AffyVerseMedia.com, the chapter and verse of everything you need to know about running a successful affiliate program for your business. This is a podcast for digital and affiliate marketers, publishers, networks, agencies, and MarTech providers who operate, support, or manage affiliate marketing programs around the globe. If you want to launch, scale, and grow a successful affiliate marketing program, you're in the right place. In this podcast, you'll learn how affiliate and partner marketing is constantly changing, and tune in to industry experts who are getting behind our mic to share tactical insights and practical knowledge to help your affiliate program grow. Here you'll discover what's new and trending in affiliate and performance marketing, how to run your affiliate program successfully, and gain industry insights from experts and practitioners from around the globe. The truth is, you simply won't find this information anywhere else. Now here's your award-winning affiliate and performance marketing host, an industry veteran, your affiliate marketing guide, and the founder of Affyverse, Leanne Johnston.
Welcome everybody back to this week's episode of the Affiliate Marketing Podcast. And joining me today is somebody that I actually call a friend because we've known each other for a couple of years now. We've visited each other's homes. We hang out at events constantly all the time. And joining me is Naomi Barton, the Portfolio Director for Clarion Gaming, which is the company that runs IGB affiliate events around the world. And these are events that I've been attending for decades now, and it's really a pleasure for me to have you on this podcast with me today to talk about women and leadership and the affiliate marketing industry and where it's heading. So, Naomi, over to you. Thank you so much for being here today with me.
Thank you for inviting me. It's such a pleasure to be able to have a chat with you, as well as sort of talk about all the things that we're both really passionate about. So, honestly, thank you for inviting me onto your podcast. I'm very honoured to be here.
I'm very grateful to have you. Now, I know I mentioned your fancy title, which is Portfolio Director of Clarion Gaming, but can you tell us a little bit about what you do, what you're responsible for, and then we'll get into the nitty-gritty of what we want to talk about today.
Sure. So I joined Clarion about 5 years ago, and then around 4 years ago took over the IGB events business. So I run the IGB events portfolio for Clarion Gaming, and that is IGB Affiliate London, which takes place alongside ICE every February, and IGB Live, which is B2B and affiliate, iGaming affiliate marketing, which is in Amsterdam. So comprises of two key sort of core events for the iGaming affiliate industry.
Brilliant. Now that is everything from kind of understanding the theme of the events through to the actual execution of the event, right?
Yeah, I think probably it sort of starts from setting the strategy and the business strategy and sort of the overall ownership of those two events and the P&Ls and the business side of things, and then ensuring that the direction of the business is taken in a direction of growth, and then really managing a really quite amazing team who then deliver operationally. We have a marketing team, commercial team, content team, etc. So all of those different elements really come together to produce what we obviously run as the events every year. And there's a real common misconception that sometimes these things, once they happen, it's sort of like, well, what's next? And actually it's such a big operation that it never stops really. You're always in executions mode, but you have to learn to then stop and pause the plan to figure out where you're going next and sort of strategically plan long term. So it's not dull. It's quite busy, but it's great.
Now, a lot of people tuning into this podcast, they attend these events. Like they go to these events at least, twice a year, maybe even more if there's other smaller satellite events happening. But why do you think events like this are so important for the affiliate marketing industry? And what have you noticed since coming into this industry 5 years ago?
I think I've been doing a really interesting piece of work on this, and I'll share some of that work sort of, at some stage in the next coming weeks and months with our community. But the biggest thing I have learned is that this industry is all about trust. It's all about trust-based partnerships. And that is literally the one thing that underpins, I think, this industry. So because of that element of needing to create and foster trust, a face-to-face opportunity to do that is so key for this sector. And I was interviewing a customer last week in Sweden, and we were talking about the need for digital metrics and data and analysis and analytics. And then coupled with that, you need connection and human connection. So if you can get that right, if you can create the sort of the tangible metrics and add that to the intangible but really important human connection, then I think the iGaming community and the affiliate community, that's what they really need. They need to have that face-to-face connection as well as all of the data and all the measuring. And that's how they prefer to do business. That's what we learn.
Yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head. Unlike other digital channels, which can be run purely off of the data metrics and optimized accordingly, like paid media, social, SEO, this is the one digital channel where relationships really do matter, because you're dealing with other humans who have, they're entrepreneurs, they're business owners, they're running teams of people. And I think that's the one thing that affiliate managers sometimes forget. They see a name on a piece of paper and they go, oh, that's my partner and I need to go work with them. But without actually meeting that person and understanding what the commonalities are between you and them, you don't really get to feel the enrichment of the account management experience and the relationship building experience if you're constantly sat behind a screen. And I know this because I've been in the industry for 2 decades, but like some of the best partnerships that I've ever created have been on the back of meeting at an event, laughing about something that both of us have experienced, or talking about our kids, and really making that personal connection, which then transcends after the event into kind of how do we work together to kind of mutually benefit from what is the performance relationship. So I think you've hit the nail on the head there in terms of like the data plus the relationship building is really what makes this industry great to work in. And I want to talk a little bit about that because, you hold a huge portfolio, okay? You're responsible for a lot of people, a lot of money, a lot of businesses, a lot of clients, a lot of affiliates who come to all of these events. And I guess it must be a little bit intimidating because it is still very much a male-dominated industry. And I'm sure you realized that when you kind of came in and walked around the first show that you ever did in affiliate marketing. Predominantly it's still very male-driven. And that's not because of any negative reason. It's just the way that the industry's kind of progressed. And so coming in to sort of take ownership of this and go, okay, I'm going to take this event forward. And we're talking thousands of people. How big has your biggest event been recently?
Well, IGB Live, they've all been growing sort of really quite nicely and exponentially year on year. So we had around 8,000 people to our last event in Amsterdam. Yeah, it's big. And it felt like that as well. It felt busy and buzzy and there was an awful lot going on. And I think the first thing I remember was running IGB Affiliate London in 2020 and standing at the top of the stairs in London and looking down and just seeing this sea of people, because I've worked in international sort of B2B events for quite a long time in different sectors. And, not all markets are in growth and have that energy and vitality actually that this sector does. And I was floored by it. I just sort of looked around and thought, this is amazing. There's so many engaged people. There's business being done. There's networking. There's lead gen. It just felt really vibrant and dynamic as an industry. And I think I came into it thinking, goodness, I'm quite entranced and sort of by this sector, and I want to learn more, and I want to help. I want to grow with it. I guess I want to grow with it. I want to develop and understand. And also, I guess when you talk about the female side of things, and I want to celebrate and mentor women into this sector, because I think that there are such great career opportunities. It's very tech savvy. It moves very fast. It's fast paced. I've started to really fall in love with the sector. And so I want to do what I can to encourage people into it. And I think when I do a lot of research with our customers, you realize that we all really share the same challenges. How do I grow and scale my business? How do I meet people that I trust and form good relationships? How do I find good people? How do I retain my good people? What do I give to my people? And you realize that it does, again, all come back to the people, right? The people before profit. And if you nail that, and if you get that right, then the rest will sort of follow.
And that's good mantra for any affiliate manager listening, because it is about people before profit. Even when you're running your affiliate program, it's always about establishing that relationship, building that trust, and then using that to actually leverage and grow the program moving forward by exploring lots of different opportunities. But it is still a male-dominated industry, unfortunately, and people like us are working hard to bring other women into the industry and to show the career progression that's here. What are some of the tips that you can give to like young affiliate managers coming into this industry who may be feeling a little bit, not scared, but overwhelmed by, the sheer fact that there are few in a mass of many when they walk into an 8,000 strong conference. Like, what are some of the pieces of advice that you can give to women who are looking to get into leadership roles and actually take, the next generation along with them?
I think, first of all, know that you deserve to be there, that you deserve your seat at the table, you deserve your voice. When I look back at what I was like, I love that the hunger and the energy that young people have coming into a market. You can feel it, you can see it. I think not being afraid to ask questions, and no question. I still say it now in most of the meetings that I run. There's no stupid questions, none. And the other thing is that you never stop learning or growing, because if you're pushing yourself out of your comfort zone, you should always be asking questions that might make you feel a little uncomfortable. You're pushing yourself. So it's not like you get to a stage where you suddenly know everything, because you don't, because life changes and sectors and work changes. So, and I think not being afraid to ask, if you hear somebody that inspires you, not being afraid to say, would you mentor me, or can I speak to you? I have done that frequently in my career, and I have been mentored upwards and downwards. I'm being mentored all the time by, amazing people, amazing young women in their 20s who are so much more tech savvy than me in certain areas, have a really unique and different perspective, are marketing geniuses. I learn from them all the time, but what I can hopefully give them is a level of experience and confidence to say, just ask the question, ask why, don't be afraid to make your mark, and don't be afraid to fail, which I know is quite a sort of cliched thing to say, but I used to really take failure quite personally. I felt like if I got it wrong, I really used to take it personally. And I've had to really learn that it just doesn't matter, and you only learn from failure. And all the things that you think sometimes you hear when you're younger, all the memes, they're true. You only really do learn if you mess something up. That also the world doesn't cave in if you said something silly. It doesn't. So learning to have a slightly less sort of, it's not personal. I wrote that on my fridge really early on in my career. It's just not personal. No one's out to sort of trip you up or mess you up. It's just ask the questions and be wholehearted. Don't be afraid.
So there's three things I took from that, because it was quite a good leadership speech really for women coming into this industry. The first thing is, you already have a seat at the table. By being here, you are already here. So there's nothing that you need to prove to anybody, and there's nothing that you need to do other than continue your own personal development and learnings. Because guess what, guys? As you heard from Naomi, she's learning still, even though she's been running these huge events for many, many years. I'm learning still, even though I'm running multi-million-dollar affiliate programs all around the world. Your learning never stops in this industry, and you have to be okay with that. If you're going to come into this industry and you're going to want to build your career, you need to be okay with the fact that you're going to be a continual student and you're going to have to keep learning. The second thing that you need to be okay with, which Naomi said, is you need to be okay making mistakes, because guess what? You're going to make them, and you can't be perfect all the time. And when you make those mistakes, that's when you learn from them. And I think just to tie that back, to the industry, a lot of affiliate managers miss out on opportunities because they're afraid to make mistakes. They're afraid to deviate from the path of least resistance that they know already works. And you got to make a choice early on in your career. Are you going to be a vanilla affiliate manager that always does the same thing every month? And that's okay. There's a time and a place to do the same things that work. Or are you going to be a trailblazer that's going to go out there and take risks and try things within reason, not being crazy with your business budget, but having a budget to test lots of different things, because this industry moves fast. I mean, you heard Naomi said 5 years ago when she came in, she thought she'd seen a huge event. Now she's running events with 8,000 people in multiple different locations, and it ain't getting any smaller. So, the thing is, you're already there. You need to be testing and learning. And I think you need to look for mentorship if you want to really survive in this industry. And both of us have had great mentors. We've actually mentored each other, even from different aspects of the industry. And it's about asking for what you deserve. And you deserve to be well mentored and well trained as an affiliate manager. And going to events like this to meet people like Naomi, and I have seen you walk the showroom floor, like every single event that I've ever been to that you've run. You don't hide in the organizer's office. You're out there. I've seen you on the floor. Stop her and say hi, and say, hey, how did you, What's your plans? Where do you see the industry? And ask questions from these people, because that's how you learn. It's not about sitting, reading newsletters and all of that kind of stuff. It's really getting out there and accessing people in the industry to learn what's happening. And you said it yourself, you interview clients all over the world. You're having those conversations because you want to see what the industry's doing and how the industry's changing and how your events can support that.
Yeah. And, fundamentally, we are there as a platform for the industry, right? We're a community-based live platform for the industry. So we will follow what customers need and want. We'll understand what customers need and, what their challenges are. But also, I'm mentoring somebody at the moment that's just about to go into the affiliate space who's worked on the B2B side. And actually, again, she's giving me market knowledge. She's giving me her specific knowledge from what she does on a daily basis. And I can give her some, hopefully some knowledge and experience on the business side. And therefore, that's a really beautiful, win-win situation. So my knowledge and my customer insight is what's going to drive products that customers need and want. And I can give her some tips and tricks because I just, I've been around a little longer and hopefully I've learned some stuff along the way. And that relationship is just awesome. And hopefully that will always be the case. So definitely stop me and say hi, because I'm always happy to chat. And I'll learn something from you, just like you'll learn something from me, hopefully.
Well, let's talk about imposter syndrome, because you and I have had long conversations about this. And I think it does affect younger people coming into the industry, because there are so many strong female leaders in our industry as well. And it's that middle level before you get to the management level that I'm seeing affiliate managers actually drop off and drop out of this industry, which is sad, because they spend time learning this job. They get burnt out because they're not supported, and they end up spinning out into other digital channels, and we're losing skills. We're losing skill set because they're not supported. So let's talk a little bit about imposter syndrome. I mean, both of us have experienced this, and I'm quite happy to be vulnerable on this, and I'm hoping that you'll do the same. But how does imposter syndrome make you feel? And then what do you do to mitigate it? What are some of the tips that you can give to affiliate managers listening to this? And this isn't female or male. Anybody can feel imposter syndrome in their job. And when you start to listen to that, you actually become less efficient in your role. So what are some of the tips that you can give us on that?
I was thinking about this just before we started our conversation. And I think it's a work in progress. I think there are days when you feel on top of the world, right? If you've sort of, just mentally you're in a good headspace, you've slept well, you've done a run, things are going well, you've got a run of sort of feeling like you're on top of things, whether it's it's at work and at home normally when you're juggling stuff, but actually things seem to be in a fairly orderly place. And then there are other times when, you might have had a bad sleep and, one of my kids has lost his football boots and has lost the plot before school. And I've missed a parents' evening and I'm trying to finish a budget, deck or whatever. And suddenly you just think, oh my goodness, I don't know whether I can do this all, or I don't know whether I can do all these things. And again, I think the biggest thing sometimes is I just have to stop and I have to breathe and literally have to tell myself not to be so hard on myself. So number one, I do good work. I am enough. That phrase, I am enough, I used to find so hard to say because it's obviously triggered something that was really, quite deep in terms of feeling like I wasn't. And so it's almost that voice that you just have to be like, enough, like I am enough, and I'm not going to listen to that voice, because everyone has that default sort of negative voice sometimes in their head. So refusing to give into it, but accepting it. So there's a woman called Susan David who talks a lot about emotional agility, who I love. And she talks a lot about naming your emotions and just being able to say, you know what, I'm feeling a bit like an imposter, like I'm not doing a good job right now, or I feel like I shouldn't. And just being able to step back from it, because you are not your thoughts and you are not your feelings. So if you can label it, it's not true. It's just how you think. It's just a thought or a feeling. It's not the truth. And being able to step back and do that. And then I think number two, just remembering that you are there just alongside everybody else, and that everybody has these moments, because we're human beings. So you would be a bit of a psychopath if you didn't have these sort of natural emotions and the ebb and the flows. And in order to get the positive highs, you have to sometimes have the lows and the doubts. But life ebbs and flows. We are human beings. We're never going to operate. And I don't think I would want to actually at just a real, never having any sort of emotions, just literally, we're not robots, we're not AI. That's the beauty of human beings. We're not going to be replaced in that sense, because you can't replace the emotional connection with people.
And that's also another reason why I love this industry so much, because that emotional connection with people is what drives this industry forward and makes the magic happen. So why would you want to take it away,
Yeah. And I guess the other thing as well is seeking out those people that can make you feel good. But, there is something about having to validate yourself sometimes. It's really important that, I've had to do a lot of work in that sense to feel good, and to tell yourself on a daily basis that what you're doing is good and that it's enough. I think it's that. It's really simple. Just, and accepting that some days you are going to go home and have one of those days where you think, you know what? Wow, that was not my best day or my best self,
Yeah.
And we've all had those. I mean, we have, and then accepting that those, a bit like when I first had a child, and I had Holly, and she used to wake up. I think, what's wrong with you? How am I supposed to deal with this? And then you'd be like, tomorrow's another day, and you know what I mean. It's just, we're all finding our way. So I think accepting that we're human, like you talked about being vulnerable, that it's okay sometimes to feel like you don't have all the answers, and you probably don't. And that's okay. I think women are so hard on themselves.
Everybody looks at, and I do have, young women coming up to me at events going, oh, I love what you're doing. And, I want to learn more from you. And I'm thinking, you want to learn from me? I'm still learning from somebody else. Like, it's like, I look great and above the water and everything, but underneath my feet are going just as fast as yours are. So, it's like, nothing is ever perfect from the outside. And I guess if we just leave young people coming into this industry, because it is very stressful being an affiliate manager, you have to know a little bit about everything, every single part of the digital industry. And right now, I don't think the industry values the skill set that an affiliate manager needs to have. And now you're thinking, okay, you're dealing with imposter syndrome because you're young and you're having to learn everything on the job. There's no university or school of affiliate marketing. Like everybody's learning this on the job.
No, there's no affiliate marketing degree. Like, where is the specific?
It's like one chapter in a digital degree. So, and then you have people like me who are coming to teach and train and support and all the rest of it. But then you also have to deal with like major career issues in your life. Like, am I good enough? Am I going to get my raise at the end of the year? You got all of this stuff on your shoulders. And then you think, well, and then getting married, having children, you throw all of that into the mix. And you think, my goodness, how do we actually, support everybody when, and some people work with great businesses who have like full HR teams and, support groups and mental health facilities and everything else. And then some people don't have those experiences. They work with smaller businesses that don't have all of those things plugged in. So where do they go for support? They come to events, they talk to other people, they share a network like we're doing right now, going, yeah, neither of us is perfect, but we're still learning and doing everything that we need to do. And we want to share that story with all of you because, you're not alone and you're not the only person feeling this way. And that's why I really wanted to...
the biggest thing that I heard, like the biggest thing that I heard actually that I'm really hearing, that I'm so passionate about is peer networking, is that I've had many customer meetings particularly in the last few months where women are crying out for this sort of peer-to-peer networking. And because it can be quite lonely sometimes trying to sort of figure out how to do things. And so actually that's something that we're really going to focus on for IGB Affiliate 24 is to create those peer-to-peer networking opportunities for people who really need and want it. Because I think there is a huge desire for it. And just to be able to facilitate that and bring people together in that environment to be able to learn from each other is what I'm hearing, particularly our female customers and our, in this industry really want. So we need to do that.
So let's talk a little bit about what happens when you experience a setback in your career and how do you deal with that? And, when do you hit the reset button? Like what has been some of your experience? Because I know you manage hundreds of people in Clarion and you're a very inspirational leader, which is why I brought you onto this podcast to talk about it, because you're not afraid to talk about when things go wrong. How would you recommend that affiliate managers, which are your clients, I mean, you speak to them every day, how do you recommend that women kind of get bounce back from that when things don't go to plan? What happens when things go wrong? How do you make it right? What's your advice?
I mean, you won't be surprised to hear that I'll probably refer to the pandemic as a time in recent times where we really had to dig very deep, as the whole world did, really, because the whole world stopped, ground to a halt. And particularly in the sector that I'm in, it's an international live events business. So it relies on face-to-face. That's the business model. And that business model overnight stopped completely for a good 18 months. And so navigating challenge and navigating a huge amount of people who all felt the same, including myself, didn't matter what level you were at and what you did, everyone was impacted by it, and trying to navigate your team and your people through that at a time when there was a huge global shift and a huge change that was not something we could control. So I think, honestly, the answer was to be human and to go back to just trying to work together. I think accepting that emotions at times could be high, that people didn't know what to do, people didn't know how to behave, didn't know how to act, but to just be human about it and to try to work together. It's all the things that whenever I think about navigating challenges, it's always back to the same things of trying to just work your way through something and trying to give in to the fact that you're not going to have all the answers, but you're doing your best to figure it out and to show your human side. So it's the same as what I would try to do with my children or my friends or my partner, is just to start off with being open about it and saying, what are we going to do? And being humble. I think being humble, because there is a temptation sometimes as a leader to think that you have to know all the answers, and you don't. But what you don't. And it's okay sometimes to say, you know what? I remember when I first realised my parents didn't have all the answers. I remember my mum saying, I was doing my best, and I was like, that's so true. I think it's being human, being humble, but also not being afraid sometimes to take people in the direction that you feel is right. Because, there are two ways that we make decisions, really. It's data and gut, and actually you're not always going to have the data. Sometimes you have to take a view on something. And particularly when you're in a position of authority or you have a team that are looking to you for some guidance and some leadership. And sometimes you have to be the one to stick your head up and say, okay, you know what? We're going to go this way. And this is what I think is the right thing to do.
That's the thing that I think affiliate managers listening to this need to take away. Because sometimes you do have to lead your partners. You have to lead your affiliates down where you need them to go, because your business has a vision and a strategy, and it is a partnership. A lot of affiliate managers that I speak to, they're too afraid to ask their affiliate about doing something differently or trying something differently or doing something bespoke or unique, because they get sucked into this, well, here's the package, this is what you need to do, and that's it. And then they go forward. And I think that's a very, very important point that I want you guys to kind of take away from what Naomi said, is you need to kind of review where you are and sometimes just make a gut feel about where you need to be, and then talk that through with whether it's your teammate, your boss, your partner, whoever it is that's involved in that situation, and make that as a mutual decision together, because that's all you can do. I mean, that's the kind of honest truth. There is nothing else that we can advise that will tell you any different. There's no one size fits all program. There's no one size, like checkbox of things that you need to do when things go wrong. You just have to sometimes go with your gut. And that means trusting yourself.
Yeah, and I think digging in, right? I think something that, we've talked sometimes before about Brené Brown, and getting in the ring. Like I've got a picture that I've got a picture on my wall at home because I needed to remind myself sometimes. It just says I showed up. I showed up,
Yeah.
and I say this a lot with my team. Yeah, like I just want people to get in the ring and show up sometimes, and hopefully that's the way that I try to build my teams. You know what? If you show up, if you dig in, if we try and figure this out, and I guess therefore not having a blame culture. There's something really important about having accountability. That is key in any business, right? We are here to run businesses, to develop businesses, to deliver growth. We are. But there's something different then about it's like accountability, but, by the same token, not blame culture.
Keeping each other accountable to the outcomes that you're meant to deliver. That's pretty much what affiliate marketing is in a nutshell, is keeping each other accountable to the outcomes that you want to have delivered. And having those outcomes clear with your partners is part of the problem when misunderstandings happen. When you haven't been clear about the type of customer, the value of the customer, the first deposit amount that you're expecting customers to deliver, the games that you're expecting them to play, that's when misconceptions happen and when misunderstandings happen and when campaigns fail. That's in my experience, it's as simple as that. So I think having an open and honest conversation and having very clear outcomes also avoids mistakes from happening or, negative things from happening. But I think that's great. I mean, one of the things that I definitely want to ask you is, who do you look up to as inspirational and why? Like, what are some of the inspirational leaders that you've kind of followed in your career and why?
So I was thinking about this because I think over the years, there is a lot that I could think of people along the way. I remember when Sheryl Sandberg first brought her book out. Yeah, she was a pretty unique, inspirational leader at the time because she was talking about leaning in, and she was the first person to really openly and globally talk about this sort of seat at the table. So she was quite impactful. I think I read something about imposter syndrome the other day, because Michelle Obama talks about that all the time. And these are all, I mean, she's just awesome. And there are, Brené Brown, who obviously talks a lot about vulnerability. So she made a massive impact on my life in terms of her books and her way of thinking, because she's a researcher, right? So she's a data-driven researcher. And the sector that we're operating in is data-driven, it's metrics-driven, it's digital marketing, etc. But equally, her research about vulnerability literally connects together all of the data and the research and the sort of sector stuff with the human being, and actually to be really true and emotionally whole, that you have to show vulnerability. And I think that unlocked a lot of things in people, allowing people to be able to show that sort of human side, I think.
Okay, so there's 3 big people there that you guys can go check out if you want to go and read a little bit about leadership and get a little bit more inspirational. What are some of the things that you're looking forward to changing for affiliates and advertisers in this industry through the events that you direct? So what are some of the things that you're thinking about for future that you want to see done differently for brands that are coming to IGB events?
I think to continually ask the questions about D&I, like diversity, equity and inclusion, and to ensure that this sector plays its part, actually, and that we educate around why that's important, because we know that the health and wealth of a business, it's not like it was 10 years ago, where sort of corporate social responsibility and DE&I was something that you wanted to do to demonstrate that you were, a modern thinking company. It directly impacts the health and wealth of your company and your profits. And females on boards directly impact things like the profit of your business. So we have a long way to go. We still need to be doing things like celebrating that through our content, through our live content on the show floor, ensuring that we set KPIs around, whether it's gender KPIs, diversity KPIs around our speakers, ensuring that we promote our peer networking and our mentoring. We're going to relaunch Ascend, which is our female mentoring network at IGB Affiliate 24. And I think the main thing is continuing the conversation via our events, but equally creating touch points throughout the year. We have an amazing intelligence business, obviously, with our digital channel, so igbaffiliate.com, and we have the opportunity to continue that conversation. So what we don't want to be doing is saying, come to the event and there's 2 days of this great content, this networking and peer networking opportunities and learning, and then it all just goes dead. Actually, to continue that conversation. And so again, with the mentoring, is to continue that online, touch points throughout the year, have groups. There's various different CEO groups actually that are running now. The Women in Business in Gaming that I join in when I can. So the main thing is continuing the conversation, I think, and not the work's never really done. There's not like you reach an end point and then it's finished. It's like there's always something else to promote or to support, I think. And so having those conversations that continue around the live events. The events are just the touch point. They're just the moments in time in a whole year of quality partnerships and connection and intelligence and community that really makes up this sector. So I'd like to continue that peer networking live, online, offline, however we can really. And it's not just that moment in time, it's a continued conversation. It's that, for want of a better phrase, it's, a flywheel. It's a constant conversation that continues to keep people learning and growing and developing.
I love that, because we're all about growth and development, and that's why we have people like you on this podcast. It has been an absolute pleasure to have you on this podcast to talk about leadership, to talk about women in affiliate marketing, to talk about why events are so important for this industry, and to really just kind of talk vulnerably together about imposter syndrome, which is something that I hear a lot of affiliate managers talk about. So thank you for coming on. Thank you for sharing your insights on this. And it's been a pleasure to have you on the Affiliate Marketing Podcast this week.
Thank you so much, Leanne. It's been a complete pleasure. Thanks for having me.
This podcast is brought to you by AMP. The Affiliate Manager Performance Program is designed for ambitious affiliate program managers working at brands, agencies, or affiliate networks that are looking to grow and scale their affiliate programs and partner performances. We've already helped hundreds of affiliate program managers from a range of industries get the best out of their affiliate partnerships and build consistent sales within their affiliate programs. With just 1 hour per week over a 12-week period, this program is unlike any other. You'll learn proven tactics, tested strategies, and access decades of experience with industry veterans who have launched, scaled, and grown multi-million-dollar affiliate programs around the world. Book your seat on our next cohort by visiting our website, affiversemedia.com, and hit the training menu from there. You can register your interest for our next cohort launch, or simply contact our sales team to find out more. That's a wrap for this week's Affiliate Marketing Podcast. If you're loving what we're putting down, why not head over to Apple iTunes and give us a 5-star review? Make sure to subscribe to our podcast and our YouTube channel so you never miss another insightful episode or one of our free webinars ever again. Tune in next week for more digital affiliate marketing insights, trends, tips, and content to keep your affiliate and performance marketing fresh and your partners driving consistent sales.